address. I can see that some people already responded. Thank you. Do you have the link? Please include your program too. As you are, I can see that you have started responding. Include your programs, your name, your email address, and your programs. Thank you.
Good morning, dear students. I hope you are all well and good. I'm welcoming you to this Turn It In training program. This training has been initiated by the librarian, Dr. Zacchaeus Oguntuashe, and it is being facilitated by the Postgraduate College. You will all agree with me that this training is very essential because at the college, we view plagiarism with utmost seriousness you can ever think about. And that is why this training is very, very crucial for all of you, whether you are in your thesis writing year or you are going to enter into the thesis writing year. Present here this morning, we have 4 eminent people. The first person who will give the training proper is Dr. Mrs. O.A. Adiago. She is the ICT head, and she is the Turn It In administrator for Obafemi Awolowo University. Next is Mr. Dapo Adeyemo, who is the librarian in charge of creating Turn It In account for you students. And he is also in charge of generating certificates for you. Also in attendance is Mr. Sunday Koka and Mr. Israel Akinyele. They are in charge of student final clearance, that is student final Turn It In clearance. You will all agree that Turn It In is very crucial for you people and for us at the Postgraduate College. We look at the regulation governing postgraduate studies in Obafemi Awolowo University, which is a whole section, section 4, which is about plagiarism. And when you are talking of plagiarism, if you look at that section, I know most of you don't read. There is a policy on plagiarism, and He defined plagiarism as the act of using other people's words or idea without appropriate acknowledgement or acknowledgements. An example of plagiarism listed there are verbatim copy, changing a few words, direct quotation without using opening and closing inverted commas, lifting a portion of work consulted without due acknowledgement, paraphrasing somebody's work without structural adjustment. So that is why this training is very essential. You will all agree that Turnitin solution promotes academic integrity, grading and feedback, and it deters plagiarism, and it improves student outcome. The Turnitin software is a web-based plagiarism checker, which is designed to check potentially unoriginal content by comparing the submitted papers to the database bases inside the system using proprietary algorithm. The plagiarism detection or content similarity, therefore, is the process of locating instances of plagiarism or copyright infringement within a work or document. Now, at the level of PG College, the threshold, similarity threshold we have adopted is 20% for now. We will likely upgrade to possibly 18 or 15% subsequently. And before you can submit your work for oral defense, you have to attach that similarity certificate from the library. At the point of submitting for deposition at the repository, also, the board now requires you to submit that certificate to confirm that all the corrections you must have effected conform with the 20% threshold. Also, for people having qualifying exams, you are now mandated to conduct the plagiarism checking before you fill Form D1, which will ultimately come to the board. So if you don't have all these thresholds, there is no way we will accept your work, either for oral exam or for deposition in the university repository. So this training is very germane to you. So I hope you will all listen. I can only see 100 participants. So I will hand over to Dr. Mrs. Oye Adiago, who will conduct that training for you. And after the training exercise, whatever question you have, if we can't take the thing when you raise up your hand, please drop it in the chat box so that we can attend to it. And I want to tell you, we are recording this session so that anytime anybody needs a recording, we can make it available to him or her. Thank you very much. Madam.
Is there excuse me, sir. I cannot give an Zoom now.
So thank you, my prof, the provost of the Postgraduate College, Obafemi Awolowo University, in person of Professor Olale. Thank you for this opportunity, and also for the initiation from the initiative from the University Librarian, in person of Dr. Femi Ogutuashi. As you have heard, I'm Dr. Mobolade Adiago. So I will be the one to take you through today's training. I'm going to share my screen. So please just give us time. Let's go through all the slides I have, and then we are going to have hands-on and any questions that we might have. So I'm going to share my screen to the presentation for today. I hope we can all see the screen. So, turn it in for a student. What you as a student, what you need to know. And as I've said, we'll talk more of the Turnitin and plagiarism. Then we'll go to the hands-on aspect of it. So Turnitin is a software used by educational institutions like OAU, Obafemi Awolowo University. So, and what do we use it for? To check the originality of the student work, as well as to prevent plagiarism. As the provost has explained to you, there is a policy against plagiarism in OAU. So, and as a student, you must comply by that rule. I think I am having an information that the link we have now will not be able to take more than 100. So maybe what will happen is that you can join. So please go through the Zoom link. If you are trying to use YouTube and it's not working, use the Zoom link. You have a friend, tell them, please. So based on the policy of the university and the fact that all our thesis now go online, every nitty-gritty of our thesis go online, we have to ensure the integrity of all our thesis. And that is the main reason why you have at every junction now, you have to turn in your work. And even for the final, before you do final clearance, you have to turn it. So it's very, very germane, important for you to pick it right from the onset. So when you submit your paper or your thesis to turn it in, it will compare it with the databases that are available. So you maybe you are, for those of you that has run your work, you would have seen it, the similarity checks. It will compare with all the journals, websites, and academic databases that are available online. And then another thing Turnitin will do is that you'll be able to see the similarity score. And I just want to stress the fact that the score does not mean that you have plagiarized. There might have been a host of issues. So but the score is to make us to know the extent, the originality of your work, and also for us to be able to evaluate, especially for cases that we are always having tricky issues. So it helps the instructors to evaluate the students' work and for us to decide what has actually happened. Like a case that we had, the students, what is it called now? For the data collection instrument that was used was actually adapted from the internet. So when students ran the work, it picked the whole questionnaire that was used. So for such, there are ways of doing it. Since we know that the person has not plagiarized, it's not actually part of the body of the work. But if you're having issues with the body of your work, definitely you need to sit down and now write. And that is the second aspect of the presentation today. So plagiarism, Provost has explained what plagiarism actually means. Plagiarism purely is saying that you have used somebody's work without acknowledging the person. You have given, credit is being given for the work that you are using. Maybe you just made a small modification, as I'm going to show us. Or you even do the cut and paste and dump into your work. So that is plagiarism. And as we know, even from the student policy, it is against the policy of the university for you to plagiarize. There are sanctions, there are rules against it. So common types of plagiarism, Provost also mentioned some of them, as you can see. We have complete plagiarism, when you lifted somebody's work, we have had cases like that, and then you dump it. that is complete plagiarism. Maybe, and we have source-based plagiarism. You used, actually you used wide ranges of sources, but you did not, reference them properly, whether within the text or at the end of your work. So that's another one. Then we have direct plagiarism, verbatimly, word for word, verbatimly from especially in the literature review. You just copied word for word. Then we have what we call self or auto plagiarism. It might be you have done something on that work before, and then because, yes, it's my work, I can just dump it into my thesis. It's not allowed. Whether it's even a thesis or a paper, self-plagiarism is not allowed. Even if you are the one that have done the work before, you have to rewrite. You have to paraphrase. Then we have paraphrasing plagiarism. When you are, you just make minor changes. Instead of using mammals, you use animals. So things like that, they are called paraphrasing plagiarism when you are using somebody else's work. Then we have mosaic plagiarism. When you are interlaying, the phrases you are using or text are for somebody, but you pick your work and you went to page 1, you inserted, you went to page 10, you inserted, scatterly like that, so that it won't be congested in a place. So you are plagiarized. Then we have accidental plagiarism. It's unintentional. Maybe when you were paraphrasing, you didn't do the paraphrasing very well. And when you copied, you didn't remember to summarize or paraphrase. So you call that one intentional or accidental, unintentional or accidental plagiarism. Then we have what we call inaccurate authorship. So you did not acknowledge the contributors to your work. Maybe you got some data from somewhere. You did not acknowledge. Those ones are called inaccurate authorship. So, as we have been saying, plagiarism is a deadly sin. This the slide you are looking at is from Cook and Sickler 2008. They actually brought out 7 sins of plagiarism and how you can go about it. When you fail to give proper credit, as I have said, do not, for academic integrity, you are not to present somebody's work as your work. When you are using somebody else's work, give proper credit. When you copy materials from the internet or even from a book, because we know that internet as in Turnitin checks against what is online, what is available, easily available in databases. So you picked a book, you know that book is not online. It is still plagiarism. You must always give proper credits, whether it's to internet sites or to book sites. Another deadly sin is a failure to cite even a few words of borrowed language. So if you are borrowing somebody's word, you are to cite. Then failure to cite an exact quote. You are inserting quotes in your work, and you are taking it as if it's you just remove the quotation. You took it as if it is your own. It is a sin, according to Cook and Sittler 2008. And also, if you don't provide the accurate citation and you think that you can get away with plagiarism. So what are things that you can do so as not to plagiarize? When it starts from the beginning of your work, you have to keep track of all your sources. And that's why we have so many AI assisted writing now. That is automation, artificial intelligence writing tools online. We have citation. We have citation softwares, engines online that you can use to help you in keeping your sources. When you get a source online, you download and then you cite properly. And you have to be organized. Ensure that you put things where they are supposed to be. And it is always very, very advisable for you to use primary sources. Because when you get sources on the internet, it might, even though you are citing, those are the things that Turnitin will pick. It might not be the right citation that you have given. So it's actually not your fault. Those ones are the ones we call unintentional plagiarism. But because you have not cited the accurate source for that text that you have used, it will be picked as plagiarism. So you have to be very, very careful. When you are getting your sources, ensure that you organize them properly, reference properly. Then the second one, which is the main thing that will help you in not plagiarizing, is quotation and paraphrasing. You have to learn how to paraphrase properly. In using quotation, from experience, we have seen students using quotation indiscriminately, and if you are reported, you'll be sanctioned. Quotations are to be used where they are supposed to be used. You don't use quotation to run away from Turnitin. You don't use symbols to run away from Turnitin. We will know. When you bring it to us in the library, we'll know, because there are ways. Turnitin will show us. You might not see it, but we will see it. So it's always better for you, quote appropriately. I'm going to show us an example. And paraphrasing. Paraphrasing can be tedious, but it's an act that is learned. The more you do it, the better it becomes. And that's the only way you can actually do your work without plagiarizing. You have to learn how to paraphrase. You have to learn how to summarize. All those things that they taught us when we were in secondary school, we go back to them. You have to learn proper way of paraphrasing and how to summarize. I will show us the example also. Then let's learn to use our in-text references properly. Some of us, we do. Most of our students, I have gone through most of the work and they are doing it very well. So those of us that do not know how to do that, please learn how to do that properly. And then it's better for you to have turned in your work before you have to go for exam or for a seminar, or you are going for your final clearance. And that's the essence of you having an account, which I'm going to talk about. So, as I've said, you have so many sources that you can cite from. You use book, you use book chapters, journal articles, websites, and so on like that. Now, I was talking about quotation and how to quote properly so that you will not fall victim. This is an example. The original text, as you can see, arts and culture undoubtedly flourished in the 20s as a shared American pop culture emerged thanks to the evidence of radio broadcasting, widely circulated magazines and movies. That's a text by Tulin, 2021. See the example of the incorrect quotation. So I want to work, I just said that in 1920, arts and culture undoubtedly flourished in the US due to advent of radio broadcasting, widely circulated magazines. Is wrong, because what the person just did was just to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words that were not in the original text. So that's not how to quote. If they are using quotation, quotation means that you are lifting verbatimly the word that the owner has used. So see the correct one. In quotation, we have art and culture undoubtedly flourished as it was in the original text. In the US, due to the advent of radio broadcasting, widely circulated magazines and movies. So those words are for the owner of the work, and it has been in quotation. So it shows that you have lifted the owner's work verbatimly, and since it is in quotation and you have cited appropriately, you will not be penalized. But if you are quoting, as some students are fond of doing, you are quoting a whole paragraph, you are quoting where you are not supposed to quote, you are putting quotation, we will know. Although you might throw off Turnitin, but it will give us a signal that this student has done what he or she is not supposed to do. So we will penalize you. So please use quotation in an appropriate way. Then let's go to paraphrasing. Avoid plagiarism when paraphrasing, because you can plagiarize even when paraphrasing. If you just change, maybe you just change few words, you just switch a few words in what you have. Let me show you an example. Like this, another text. The full text is up there. And then see the first paraphrase. What the person just did was to, change hot animals. Instead of plastic wildlife, he said plastic hot animals in a lot of ways, myriad ways, that's lots of ways. And then he went on to say, many of which scientists are just starting. No, you are using maybe synonyms. You are using synonyms, it is not allowed. Graphs, you change it to understand. We have larger, which was changed to bigger, and then tangled, and so on like that. But look at the well paraphrased sentence that we have there. Compare with the main text. Says scientists are still learning. It has shown that the person has actually brought out his own. It shows that he has digested that sentence, the text that we are talking about. So the person is now giving us a summary of what he has digested. It says scientists are still learning the extent to which plastic animals. The statement was plastic harm wildlife in myriad ways. And the person has given us a simple summary of that statement. So according to the Zombach, that's the writer, 2021, ingesting plastic can lead to internal damage if it gets tangled when swallowed. So that it's different totally to the main text. So by the time Turnitin sees it, there is no relation with the main text, so it won't flag it. So you have to learn how to paraphrase. It's an act, but the only way you can learn it is when you do it. You learn by doing it. Now, we move on to Turnitin. Turnitin, as you can see on the page, the different colors that depict your similarity level, the index that we're talking about. When you have blue, that means that there is no matching text. Not that there is no matching text anywhere in the world, but that there is no matching text online. Especially, we do have this scenario for people in the languages, because by the time they are writing their thesis in Yoruba, Turnitin might not have anything to run their thesis with. So the onus lies on the researchers in the Yoruba land to start putting work in Yoruba online, so that Turnitin will have something to guide against. When we are talking of indigenous information. So we have issues like that. It will be blue. Now, when you have green, it shows that maybe one word or up to 24% of your work has matching text. So you see green. But once you are now above 24%, then that one it's even out of it at all. 25 to 49 is yellow. 50 to 74% is orange. 75 to 100 is red, and red means danger. So as the provost has told us, for now, our similarity index, the score for OAU, is either less than or equals to 20. And you have been told we are working towards 15%. I normally advise students that comes to me that they should work towards having, especially those that are not going for final clearance, that it's better you work towards having between 15, 16, 17. So that by the time you are done with your work, at least by whatever is added online again, you won't exceed the 20% threshold. So if you are going for seminars, you are going for post-field, you are going for the pre-field or whatever, your orals, it's better you work towards having less than 20. Don't target 20%. Always work towards less than 20, so that by the time you are done, and by the time we've now moved down to maybe 18% or 15%. So definitely the onus relies on those students then that they have to work maybe 12% or thereabout before the final results. So, and then I would like to say that for this similarity index, it increases So it's better for you to always do your work on time. People all over the world, somebody somewhere is working on the same topic that you are working. So every day, data and text and everything is being added online, and which would be read against your work by the time you are doing the Turnitin. So it's better for you to do your Turnitin as at when due. Now, as the provost has mentioned, according to section 4, the accepted threshold, as I've said, is 20%. So, and students, right from the onset, once you are taking, we advise that you come to the, is it that you send email to plagiarism, excuse me, please, that thing is plagiarism. We can just plagiarism, not, we will resend, are you on? Okay. I will post the email address. I'll post it online. So it is advisable for you to come to the library and have your account created. An account will be created for you for Turnitin. So once you send email to the library, the person in charge will work with you and then create an account. Turnitin will send a reply to you, which you have to follow. The email must contain your first and last name, your faculty, and the email address that you want to use for Turnitin. So please, because this is what you will use right from the beginning. You start writing chapter 1, chapter 2, you start turning your work so that you know that you are in line, you are already within the accepted threshold, even as you are starting your work. For those who they are done, you have done your orals and you are coming for the final clearance. The process is different, and we are going to show us. You have to log in through your NetQ page. You are not to use the former account that you have used. It's a new thing, because for that you'll only be allowed to submit once, and you won't have access to the result. It's the final one. So the onus lies on you to have ensured that you have run your work. That is, that your binded thesis, before you bind it, you must have run it on the account that has been created for you, and you ensure that it is within the acceptable threshold. Because once you put it on the link created on the NetQ page, you will not be allowed to resubmit. Some of you have been having a lot of problem with that. So, although for now, we do ask students to go and do it again. As the process evolved, we will not allow resubmission again, because for final clearance, submission will all just be once, and you don't have access to the results. You are supposed to have checked with your personal account. You are supposed to ensure that your work is okay when you are submitting. Now, I want to show us some samples before we now go to the hands-on. Now, this person that submitted did cut and paste. When submitting, cut and paste is not allowed. I'm going to show us when we get there. You have to submit your file as a single file. You are not to cut and paste your work. This is how your work will look like if you submit the way you are supposed to, just exactly as it is looking like on your system, exactly as you print it when you have the physical copy. That's how the soft copy also must look like when you upload to Turnitin. Now, this person, when the person was submitting, the person did not submit the accept. I think the person, maybe the supervisor or so, they were using the review view on Microsoft. So you have to be careful. Ensure that the work you are submitting is properly edited. Work like this is not allowed. If you can see the empty space it's on my right hand side. It's not supposed to be. If you are using the review option on your Microsoft Word with your supervisor, ensure that you are sending the appropriate version of your work. You are uploading it onto the Turnitin. Then you can see quotation marks. This is chapter 4 of this person's work. You can see quotation marks where quotation marks are not needed, because caregiver burden and quality of life, they are common terms. This person felt that it should be repeated over and over for Turnitin. It is not allowed. Even some still go ahead and put quotation marks all over their work. In the bid of the throwing of Turnitin. Please and please, it is not allowed. You are not to use quotation mark where it is not necessary, except if this person, if this is the way it appears on the title of the work, no problem. But if quotation mark is not part of the title of your work, please don't use it for the title, don't use it for any of the subheadings for your work, and don't use it indiscriminately. Now, I've told us Turnitin for OAU, it is 20% for now. So some schools, they might have 30. And why is it 20%? In OAU, we have set it, your references are not, Turnitin does not check references. And we have we reduced that if you're having words, similar words, up to about 5 or 7 words together, Turnitin will not pick it. It's where you are now having long sentences, you are having a whole paragraph or a whole page that Turnitin will pick, or if you have not cited appropriately. So that's why even the Turnitin treasure for OAU is 20%, because we have removed, we allow quotation. Some schools, they don't allow quotation. We have said that Turnitin will not check your references. So that is why it is as low as 20, and it's even going down to maybe 18 or 15, as the case may be later. So on your Turnitin page, when you have the results, we are going there now. This is an example of what you are going to see. The feedback, if your lecturer has used a feedback for you, but we don't do that, especially if it is an account created in the library, you won't have any feedback. But where you have to focus your attention on is the similarity, which we have here is 58, and for us here it is 2i. Now we have different examples. I deliberately placed this there because if you look at the first one, it's reading 21%. 21% in OAU will not fly. Anything above 20%, that's why I picked this 21%. Once you are above 20%, you are not going anywhere. And secondly, if you look at this, that 21%, it has 3 sources. The first source is 13%. The second source is 4%. The third one is 3%. All this shows the similarities. That is, the work is similar, that they were able to get similar works from readings, from the guidance, from GBC. So for one similar work, 13% is too high. We don't take it. It must not be more than 2%. Your similarity to any work from any source, the highest shouldn't be more than 2%. It could be 1, it could be less than 1, it could be 0, but the highest shouldn't be 2%. So that's why the second one, that 9%, you can see 3%, you can see 2%, you can see 1%. Those are where the similarities are for. The first one, if we are having a student with 9, he has passed, the student has passed, but because of the 3%, the student will need to go and work down that 3%. That is, that source has to be pulled down to maybe 1 or 2. We don't take from a similarity from a source, shouldn't be more than 2%. Because it's showing us that your work is concentrated to that source. Especially like the reading here that we're having 13% from a source, that most of your sources is from there, which is not allowed. So if you are having sources, it has to be spread out. It's better you have more sources, similar to more sources, than just having one single source. And maybe if you're having one single source for like 9%, it will not be taken. I think that is on the next one. Yes. We have just one source. This work is 14%. And by OE standard, it's supposed to pass, but it will not pass because it's just one single source. You can't have more than 2% from one single source. Your work must not be more. The similarity to a source, the highest must be 2%. Anything from that, you will have to go and work it down. So that's why you could see the ones that are there. There is even another one. Okay, I think I didn't put it. It has a whole 100%. So definitely that work. Maybe the person just lifted and done. Now we are not going to. I will take you to your student page. So I'm going to stop sharing now. I will take you to your student page, and let's go through what this normal scenario. I'm going to log in as a student and what you are supposed to see when I log in as a student. A minute, please. So, this is my student page. The one you saw before was the instructor page. This is my student page, and this is what you are expected to see as a student. If you are sent a link and by the time you have logged on, you have done everything that Turnitin asks you to do, you are not seeing this, then you need to contact the person that is in the library. That is in person of Mr. Dapademo. That means there is an error. Either you contact him or you get in touch with me. Your student page must look like this. And as you can see on your student page, you will see your name, your first and your last name. Your user info will be there also. If you go through it, that on your user info, we always leave it as default. You don't need to do anything there. You can see me, I'm an instructor as well as a student. So actually, you can be an instructor and as well as a student also as I am. So this show, in case maybe you feel that your password has been compromised and you want to change it, this is where you go to. I'm on your user's info after your name. That's at the uppermost part on the right hand side, the topmost part of Turnitin page. So the user info will give you your details. You have your email address. Maybe you want to change your email address, you can do that here. You want to change your password, you can do that here. But the other settings is better for you to leave it as default as it is. So we go back. I'll go back to the page and I click on my home. I hope you can see where home is. So I'm going back to home. Another thing that you can do on this your student page, even before we go to submission, is that maybe as you are a student with us in the library, your lecturer too have added you as a student. All what you need to tell your students is to send you an ID and an enrollment key. You wouldn't need to register again. Once you are using your password, your email address works across board on Turnitin. So if your instructor, maybe your supervisor is saying that I am adding you to my class so that I can monitor your work, you just ask your supervisor to send you the class ID and the enrollment key. And with that, you will be added to that class and it will show. It will show on your page. Another thing you can do, Turnitin has made it, this one is taking us away from the page. You can also, you click on plagiarism, you go to, you click on it to take you to facts about plagiarism and how you can learn more about it. So, and citation help also is there. So I'm going back to home, where you want to submit your work, wherever you are, just click on home. It will take you back to your page. If your lecturer is adding you to any class, it's on the home, you will see all the classes that you have been added to. So you can belong to more than one, you can belong to 10 classes as many that maybe for your courses, you have other courses that your lecturer wants to add you to, they will just send you the enrollment key and the class ID, and you are good to go. Now, how do we now submit our thesis? I hope you can see the class name. Your faculty will be your class name. So once you have you see, I was added to Faculty of Art. That's why you can see me. And then the instructor's name, your instructor that has added you, you will see the name. The instructor that added me as a student was Rufus Sam. So you will see the name there. And your status, you will see. If you are not active, that means that the page your lecturer is using has expired. So you need to contact your lecturer to ensure that he or she renew that page, as in to update, that's to change the date to the current date so that your class will be updated. So, and you can see that the date I joined this class was 2018. Actually, I've been using Turnitin since 2012. It's not, you shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't feel as if you are being victimized. It is what is obtainable now. So as I think academic integrity, you just have to go through these processes. It's a must as a student. So for this class, I joined this class 2018, and up till now, you can see the end date when it will expire. It will expire 31st of August 2023. So maybe you are no longer a student, which we appreciate all of you to do for us. You are done with your thesis, you are done with your classes, you can just drop the class and then you are good to go. That means you are no longer, you don't need it again. You can just drop it and it will be, it will be deleted even from your instructor's page. So that's what you have there. You have the class ID, the class name, the instructor, your status. If it is inactive, then you will not be able to submit anything to that page. And then when you joined and the end date. Now, when you want to submit, you go to the class name and click on it. Now, I'm here, and once you click on it, the submit for your own, if you are submitting newly, it will read submit. It's because there is a work on this page. That's why it's showing resubmit. If you are submitting newly, you have never submitted anything there, it will read submit. And what I can submit to is thesis. In this faculty, my work is going to the assignment thesis. That's why I have the assignment title there. And if you click on the info, it will give you the basic information about that class that you have joined. It's telling me that I can check my thesis. Late paper submission are not allowed. That is, after the date, after August 23, I will not be able to use this page again. And also, resubmission are allowed. I told you, for your account, resubmission will be allowed. So, all the information that I need is there. Now, I want to submit. For you, if you are just using it newly, it will read submit. But for people who have submitted once or twice, it will read resubmit. So I can just click on it and resubmit. And if I want to, maybe my work, the one I submitted last, unfortunately my system crashed or something, I can actually click on view. That's another beauty of Turnitin. It's standing as a storage device also, where you can always have access to whatever the original work that you actually submitted. So I can, and for the down arrow here, I can actually submit, I can download that original file. The first one the last one that I uploaded, I can download it. Maybe my system crashed and I don't have access to it again. So it's even on your, for your own good, for you to upload your work onto Turnitin as much as possible, so that you can always have access to the last one that you worked on. So now I want to resubmit, or I'm resubmitting newly. I will click on it. The pop-up is telling me that I have already submitted a paper, and that if I'm choosing to resubmit now, I will need to wait. If I've submitted 3 times, maybe I submitted my work, I resubmitted second time, I resubmitted the 3rd time. The 4th time, I might have to wait for 24 hours before I will be able to get the similarity report. So if you have submitted, you have used your account once, twice, or thrice, just be sure that the results might not come immediately. So be rest assured, give it a day. But by the second day, if there is no report, there is a problem somewhere. Maybe network issue when you were uploading. So the work was not uploaded properly. So you might need to resubmit. So now I will say, okay, because I still want to submit, even if it's taking 24 hours, I want to resubmit. So it will come here. And on here, you can see your name will be there. You can't change it because you are not the owner of that class. Your name and your last name will be there. The only thing you can put is the title of your thesis, whatever you want to put there. So I showed you a sample of cut and paste submission and a single file submission. So when you come here, when you open it is on cut and paste, please change it to single file upload. Where you just change it to, it might be, maybe by default it was set as at cut and paste, but once you click on it, click on that arrow, it will bring up single file upload. You click on it, and once you have done that, you put the title, you choose from your computer. Your work must already be on your system, and it's always you can use your phone, but it's always advisable to use your system so that you are sure that the network will be very stable. So you go wherever your work is, navigate there, pick it and upload. I'm not going to do that. So you can always do that. Okay. Now we are done with uploading, because once you are done, okay, let me just pick something. Let me pick something so that you will see what I want to okay. Let me use let's use this. Then I will say upload, but it won't go if I don't put a title. So I can just academic journals. So I say upload. So you have to give it time, let it roll. Because without confirming, your work has not been uploaded. So you confirm. It's confirming. You give it time, let it confirm. So, and what the information on this page is actually what you will see on the data receipt. We'll soon get there too. So let's check. It's still confirming. Okay. It's taking time. It might be the network or the volume of the work. Anything could have amounted to that. But let's move on. I want to take us to some of the work that our students are submitting. I'm going to use the example of our senior student, that is those that have actually submitted and they have won and their work has been taken. What I'm seeing here, you will not see because this is on the instructor page. Now, I have, okay, let's take, let's look at a recent one. Let me use Ibukun David. Yes, is a recent one. Let's use, the person had 4%. So this is what I'm talking about. When you submit, you are submitting everything as your physical thesis is, so also the online version must be. Starting from the title page, as you can see here, from the title page, to your preliminary pages, everything. Like, I'm sure this work was returned because the person did not sign. So you have to, it has to be signed. That means that this page you scan and reinsert when you are about to submit. This person's work was returned back to the person. So, and for the fact you saw that the person had 4%, but because the person has not actually done what he supposed to do, it was returned back to him. It wasn't that it failed, but for him to go and do what he's supposed to do. And what I think he's supposed to do, he has submitted a whole thesis, fine, but he has not submitted the approved thesis, because your approved thesis for final clearance must have all the signature pages, all your signature. And what you do is just for you to scan and insert it to the to your word, the word page of your work. So you insert, and then we have all, see, the plenary pages, everything is there. That the only thing the person did not do was the signature, which he eventually did and resubmitted. So these are still as they are on the page. It has to be, everything is not, nothing must be modeled. It has to be. That's why you don't cut and paste. I'm not sharing. I'm sorry. I just said I'm not sharing my page. Okay, let me reshare now. Sorry, let me reshare the page that I showed us now. Okay, I believe you can see now. Can we see the pages? Okay, thank you. So what I showed us before, the student page, this student, he did well. He had 4%, as in for plagiarism. He didn't have any issues. It doesn't, but the only issue he had with us was that he did not submit, he did not upload the approved thesis. And how do we know that it's the approved thesis? The signature pages are to be there. So that's the only reason why this work was rejected, and the person had to go and resubmit. So you go, and you can see, for you to resubmit, you go back to your NetQ page. So it's better for you to get it right, so that you won't be wasting time. The person has to go back, they regenerate a new email, and then start all over again. So I didn't mean that he assigned, he did what he's supposed to do from the beginning. He wouldn't have to go through that that stress. So the work, no signature or not, it's a complete thesis. Everything that is supposed to put was there, and the similarity index was okay, but because of the signature page, the work was rejected. So your work being rejected at the final level will mean so many things. That's why I'm explaining this. These are the similarities, I mean the plenary pages, exactly as it was on the physical copy. Because when you bring it, we'll check, we'll compare the one that you have uploaded with the physical copy of your work. So this person did well, except for the signature pages. And as you can see, everything from A to Z. And the person had over 300. And another thing he did that made his work to be rejected was the indiscriminate use of quotation mark. I don't know whether you are seeing what I'm saying. If you check, you will not see it. You will not, if you do the running by yourself, you will not see it. But because I'm showing you from my page, that's why you can see. You can see all those quotation marks, unnecessary quotation marks where they are not supposed to be. So it is not allowed. It is not allowed. Please watch out for unnecessary quotation marks that might injure your work. It will give you more work to do. So aside that, the person did well. So when you, and with the similarities that I told you about, this is where we check it. This person is having less than 1% similarity index to all the sources that Turnitin picked. So it's a good work, except for the signature and the quotation, some of the quotation marks that are out of place. So the work is either you have 2% or less than 2%. So anything above 2%, even if you are having 4% as this person had, you will not, your work will be rejected. It has to be worked on and ensure that the sources are adequately spread out, that you are not having a concentrated similarity index. Maybe I didn't mean that this 4% is just from one source, it will be rejected. So then when you come for your certification also, after you have turned it in and your work is okay, you are expected to print the digital receipt and the first page of your similarity index report. If I'm to get the first page of the similarity index report, I will need to open this. I will need to download it. And then from there, let's see if it can download before we. When you are downloading, you download current view, that is the first one, and which you can do. Once you click on your link, you download the current view, will give you where the similarity index is. The similarity index report will start at the end of your work. Another thing is that Turnitin makes use of colors, but basically it doesn't have any meaning. It just uses the colors to show the different sources, and the colors will be arranged in order of magnitude. Turnitin, I think it uses up to like 13 colors. By the time you are on the 12th, the next one, on the 13th one, would have changed. If you notice where I am here, the first one was red, and number 13 too is red. So that means Turnitin uses about 12. It uses about 12 colors, but the colors are just to show the different sources that your work has been checked against, the different sources that you are using. So, but now the order of magnitude of those sources now will now tell you where you are plagiarized, where your work is concentrated to. So you can work with those colors and say, okay, those with color red, let me just work them down. Maybe you have color red being 10, or you have color red being 5%. So you can work with those ones and ensure that you work them down. So the issue of colors, it doesn't matter. And then when Turnitin, when it picks like it's picking Ife, it's picking masters, it's picking a physics written. All those ones are what we have made room for when we place it for 20%. So you can, all this, definitely there is nothing you can do about Department of International Relations, Faculty of Administration. There is no way for you to change. So those are the ones that we have taken care of in the 20% index that we have given you. So you don't have anything to do when it comes to your preliminary pages, especially except for acknowledgement, because I know that some people, they can go and lift acknowledgement from somewhere. You can see this person's acknowledgement is very, very clean. It shows that the person has used his own words. He has written it from his heart. Those who contributed to his work, he has acknowledged them. But some of us, maybe we don't know what to write. We just borrow idea from here. And especially with the chat GPT. I don't know whether we are aware of chat GPT now. Is a Google AI version that can help you to write anything. And fortunately or unfortunately, Turnitin, they have upped their game. They can pick, now Turnitin can detect AI. If they are using artificial intelligence to write your work, we will know. Although you will not know, but it will show us the percentage that you have used. So you can. So we have our time is far spent, and I think I've done justice to what we are here to do today. I don't know if we are having questions. Our time has gone. We are having another training by 11:30, although we started a bit behind schedule. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'll stop sharing now. If you are having any questions, we can put it in the chat box. Do they have opportunity to unmute themselves? I can see somebody raising his hand. Can we unmute that person, please?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'm on with Mr. Babawale Olayinka.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, well, hello?
I'm with you, ma'am.
Yes, you have a question?
No, the network is not good now.
Do we have anybody having a question, please? Sir?
Round up.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have enjoyed the presentation from Dr. Mrs. Adiago. Am I right?
Hello?
We will try and see whether we can make the recordings available to everybody. If you have any other question, after going through the slides again or the presentation, you can make it available either to the provost or direct the questions to Dr. Mrs. Adiago. I think she will share her email address with you. So if you have the email address, you can send the questions directly to her. So on this note, we have another session for the staff members. So I want to thank all of you for your attention. So if you have any other question, you can either talk to the provost or most importantly, go to the right place in the library, Dr. Mrs. Adiago. She is always very eager to listen to students. Thank you very much. You have one last word for them?
Yes, I could see that somebody asked how they can get Tony's account. Please just send a mail to plagiarism check. I'm putting it on the chat box now.
So, for staff now, Mr.
So, it is there for you. And I also put my email address for you. Any question you can send.